romanticize emotional capacity, the silent strength that bears any burden. The quiet courage to stand unwavering, a lighthouse in everyone else's storm. But what about the luxury of being messy, the simple grace of saying, "I'm not okay"? A privilege denied to the one person who can never afford to break down. The fixer. You know them, you probably saw them. Always the one to listen, to advise, to shoulder the emotional weight. Their problems become your projects, their anxieties, your urgent tasks. It starts subtly, a quiet pride in being dependable, in being needed. The gratification of making someone else's world a little less chaotic. A foundational belief, your worth is directly tied to your utility. Soon, the requests escalate, not asks, but expectations. They see a bottomless well, not a person with limits. The unwritten contract, you are always strong, always capable, always there. But the cost? It's paid in pieces of yourself. The energy, the time, the emotional bandwidth that evaporates into others, crises. Your own struggles are neatly tucked away, deemed unworthy of attention. Who could possibly handle your mess when you're the designated cleaner? So you perfect the mask, the unwavering smile, the calm, reassuring voice. Inside, a silent scream. Outside, perfect composure. The lie becomes your reality, your true self, a stranger. You become a living, breathing, emotional sponge. Every problem absorbed, every pain registered. No outlet for release. The hollowing out begins, a slow, agonizing excavation of your soul. Sleep doesn't offer respite. It's a battleground of other people's anxieties. You lose your ability to feel your timon joy, your timon sorrow. Everything becomes muted, filtered through the lens of collective suffering. A constant, low-level hum of exhaustion, a persistent ache behind your eyes. Resentment begins to fester, a bitter taste, unacknowledged. Why won't they just try harder? Why are you always the one? The hypocrisy burns. They demand your best, offer only their worst. You find yourself silently judging, pulling away, yet unable to disengage. The bonds you thought were love now feel like shackles. You're surrounded by people, yet profoundly, terrifyingly alone. Who fixes the fixer? The question echoes in an empty room. Nobody notices your cracks, because your job is to hide them. They've grown accustomed to your impenetrable facade, built on silent suffering. The empathy you dispense like currency is never reciprocated. Your emotional reservoir runs dry, a parched desert where a spring once bloomed. Physical manifestations begin, chronic fatigue, anxiety attacks, a persistent ache. Your body screams what your voice cannot express. The breaking point isn't dramatic, it's a quiet, internal implosion. One day, you just stop. The well is truly empty. And the world, so dependent on you, reels from your absence. Suddenly, your inability to fix becomes Werner's fault. They don't understand burnout. They just see a broken tool. And the guilt, a new, heavy cloak, descends. You dedicated your life to others, peace, but lost your own. The path back to yourself is long, treacherous, and fought entirely alone. You must learn to rebuild, brick by painful brick, to prioritize your oxygen mask before assisting anyone else, to accept your own glorious, messy imperfection, to choose vulnerability, even when it feels like weakness, because the alternative is total erasure. The profound tragedy isn't your exhaustion, but what it stripped from you. Your identity dissolved into an infinite series of repairs. A life lived for everyone else's comfort, at your own expense. You became the stable ground, while your own foundations crumbled. A silent protector, bleeding internally for a world that never saw the wounds. You fixed their broken pieces, but who gathers yours? The unspoken truth, your superpower became your deepest prison. A life sentence of unsolicited emotional labor. The applause was for your resilience, never for your suffering. A sacrifice celebrated, but never truly seen. And the crushing weight of that invisibility. This isn't strength, it's a slow, self-inflicted wound. The ultimate betrayal of self, for the sake of others. You taught them to walk, but crippled your own legs. Guided them through darkness, extinguishing your internal light. The world keeps taking, and you keep giving until there's nothing left. A monument of selfless service, built upon your own ruin. The silent pact. They get to be vulnerable, you get to be nothing. Just a mechanism, a utility, a means to an end. And the ultimate irony, once broken, you are forgotten. Because their need for your strength disappeared with your collapse. You were useful, not loved, a painful, searing truth. The true cost is far more than mere exhaustion. It's the erosion of your essence, grain by grain. Until all that remains is a ghost of who you once were. The person beneath the mask, erased by 1,000 good intentions. A slow, quiet suicide of self, fueled by perceived obligation. Because ultimately no one cares how you're doing. Only what you can do for them. The crushing realization of your transactional existence. And the horror that you let it happen. You orchestrated your own disappearance. A magician whose final trick was making themselves vanish. Leaving behind only the echoes of everyone else's relief. And the deafening silence of your own unacknowledged pain. This isn't just about boundaries. It's about existential survival. The fight to reclaim the self you gave away. A harrowing journey to rediscover your own messy humanity. The courage to be imperfect, to fail, to let others fall. Because some things aren't meant to be fixed by you. Some wounds are theirs to heal, their battles to fight. And your responsibility ends where their agency begins. Reclaiming your life. Because your empathy is a finite resource, not an endless tap. And you deserve to be the one fixed, for once. To finally be seen, not for your utility, but for your intrinsic value. The right to be messy, broken, and still worthy of love. The profound agony of giving everything, only to be left with nothing. The haunting realization. Your sacrifice was less a gift, more a robbery. A slow, agonizing theft of your very soul. And the thief? The one in the mirror. Because you allowed yourself to be consumed. You were the fixer, until there was nothing left to fix, even in yourself. The ultimate failure of compassion, its application on yourself. The true tragedy, you built a kingdom of peace for others. Only to find your own home a desolate, ravaged wasteland.